Embark on your civil services journey with Vision IS. Introducing the Delhi GS Foundation Course 2026, turning UPSC dreams into reality. Access interactive learning tools, animations, videos, and an immersive interface. Utilize our tech-enabled student portal for performance tracking and personalized feedback. Stay ahead with daily assignments, weekly mini tests, and monthly revisions. Strengthen your preparation with expert-researched, UPSC pattern study material. Delhi General Studies Foundation Course 2026. Batches start 29th November, 5 p.m., Karol Bagh. 19th November, 9 a.m., Karol Bagh. Take the first step towards success. With Vision IS, success is just a step away.
Good evening to all of you. Let's start with the second topic discussion, that is Indian music, right? So basically, when it comes to UPSC and this topic, there has only been one question asked in prelims, and even in mains, there have not been questions asked, right? But yes, having said that, that does not, subdue the importance of the topic. Reason being, Indian musical tradition is a very important heritage of our country, right? It is again a heritage of our past. It is one aspect of performing arts, right, where we usually see different varied forms of musical traditions in India, again starting from ancient to modern times, right? So there can be different kinds of questions which can be expected from mains perspective as well as prelims perspective, right? So first, the way we did the Indus Valley topic, we will again pick up first the general understanding of this topic called Indian music. Indian music evolution, forms and types. So this is the topic which we are taking up. Again, the syllabus of culture says ancient to modern times, right? So obviously, it is better that we are understanding this topic from ancient to modern times first, right? Without again giving you the hint, let me tell you and ask you from you guys only, what kinds of forms do you see in music? Leave aside evolution. पहले आप मुझे types of music बताओ. So one is classical music, right? Yes, someone said folk music. Modern music, okay. Tribal music. Modern music में आ जाएगा pop music. Tribal music. What are the different themes within the music genres? Do you understand genres? Different musical themes. Khayal is more about romanticizing. Hana? Someone said heroic music, or what you call as valor music. Hana? What else? बहुत important theme भूल गए हो. Nationalistic, patriotic music. Right? What else? Someone is saying devotional, very important. devotional, bhakti music. Similarly, Sufi music. Now are you able to make sense? That when we do different kinds of music and when we brainstorm our mind starts functioning in the right direction, right? Another music which you have forgot is Vedic chanting, mantras, shlokas, जहाँ से म्यूजिकल हिस्ट्री स्टार्ट हो रही है. And again, UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List has given the status to Vedic chanting. Similarly, ऐसे Buddhist chanting भी है. Right? So when we say that how did music evolve? So what could be the first phase of musical evolution? Vedic period from 1500 to 1000 BC. What did we see? Psalms. Psalms are what? Again mantras and shlokas, right? Short shlokas and mantras. कहाँ पर? Rig Vedic texts. Then Samved, Yajurved. They gave us understanding of the musical evolution. Right? This is the first instance of our musical tradition in the ancient scriptures. Right? Then we go again further down. What do you think could have been the musical types? अब अगर हम बात करें let's say modern times, उससे पहले 800 to 700 BC, Upanishads were compiled. What were Upanishads? इस बारी क्वेश्चन भी आया है प्रीलिम्स में. Upanishads literally means, हाँ नहीं, हाँ parables तो होते हैं. What are parables? Short moral stories, right? Upanishads literally means to sit down near someone and gain knowledge. So Guru Shishya Parampara started to happen and Upanishads were written down, right, and compiled. This Upanishad or Upanishads, tradition were carried down further during Mauryan period, right? So Guru Shishya Parampara or Upanishads were passed down further, right? Then what do you think could have been the musical compositions or poetic compositions? इसके बाद major time period क्या था? So Gupta's age is known as the golden age of culture, right? कुछ तो हुआ होगा Gupta age में भी. Poems were written. Specific example is Kalidas Meghdutam. ठीक है? What else could have been the traditions after Gupta Empire? So we come down mainly broadly. I'm giving you broad dates, right? 700 to 800 AD or 800 to 9th century AD. Very good. Bhakti music in the form of compositions, right? ठीक है? फिर what else? अब हम कौन से टाइम पीरियड में आ रहे हैं? वी आर कमिंग टू मिडीवल टाइम पीरियड, राइट? सो फ्रॉम लेट्स से 1100 AD to 1400 AD could be what? Sufi movement. Now both these Bhakti and Sufi movement traditions, musical traditions basically, continued till Mughal Empire, and we are still seeing them today, right? Mughal times में तानसेन, तो हिंदुस्तानी और कर्नाटिक कब आया? 11 to 13th century, right? Due to again Persian influence, Hindustani music came into being, right? Carnatic music is usually associated with musical tradition in South India. Earlier, the India was having a uniform music system in the form of Vedas or Vedic music. In the 11th-12th century AD or 13th century AD, basically when Persian influence came, it got divided into Hindustani and Carnatic. In the 7th to 8th century AD, from the south emerged Bhakti music, right? That's how we see music. Now what else? We will see sub-styles of Hindustani and Carnatic music. So let's say Qawwalis, Dhrupad, all these sub-styles of Hindustani music would emerge, right? This is also the period of rise of regional dynasties, specifically Rajput dynasties. So when we talk about Rajput dynasties, compositions based on heroic, actions would emerge, right? Then regional music would emerge from 1500 to 1800. Regional music, jaise Lok Sangeet. Different regions would have their own unique cultures, right? Tribal music. All these genres would emerge after 1600 AD, right? What else do you see in the form of music? During 1900s, patriotic music, national music, है ना? So from 1600 to 1800, we see emphasis on sub-styles of Hindustani. We see Qawwalis, we see Dhrupad, we see Gharana system, right? Different centers, musical regions emerged, like Agra Gharana, Gwalior Gharana, right? These emerged as musical centers, musical regional centers, right? 1900s onward till 1947, we see nationalistic or patriotic music, right? ठीक है. After 1947, modern music in the form of radio Mirchi, right? We see pop music. We see influence of Western music. We see remixes, old and new together, right? So this is how we see the evolution of music. Make sense? In broad terms, this is how music emerged. So when we are doing this topic, Indian music, broadly, we need to see evolution of music, types of music. This is the length and breadth and extent, right? Genres of music, musical personalities and their contribution, and organizations, जैसे radio, right? Then Sangeet Natak Academy. So this is what we will cover today, right? So evolution of music from ancient to modern times, different themes, valor music, bhakti music, national music, tribal music, regional music, revolutionary music, new trends in music. Key contributions of personalities, musical instruments, yes, in that diagram you have to add musical instruments also, because without musical instruments there won't be any music, right? Musical tribes, very important. It could be asked in prelims. There have been questions asked from musical tribes also, because there had been a question once on Mangniya tribe. Mangniya tribe is a musical Muslim community in and around Rajasthan, Gujarat, right? Promotion of music, how is it done? Organizations, awards, radio, etc. Okay? So as I told you, the bifurcation in classical music, right, happened from 11th to 12th century, when the Persian and the Arabs started to come. Uske pehle one system existed, and that was Vedic system of music, right? So Hindustani music in the north and Carnatic music in the south, right? So Vedic times mein, it started from the sands of Rig Vedas, Richas, shlokas, mantras. In 700 BC, Upanishads were compiled. Upanishads were the philosophy or the teachings or the learnings which the teachers used to provide to their shishyas or the students. In and around 300 BC, these Upanishads were passed down to the generations. From 200 BC to 200 AD, a very important seminal musical work called Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra gave us musical, understanding, right? So it gives us information on scales of music, melodies of music, tal, musical instruments. This is what is the subject matter of Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Although it is a treatise or a book of music, dance and drama, but musical element which we find in Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra is the most important work, right? Then 500 AD, Kalidas wrote Meghdootam. It was a lyrical poem, right? Lyrical and in poetic style. 7th to 8th century, bhakti and bhakti music, devotional music. What is devotional music? When you surrender, when you chant, when you start chanting the name of the God with whom you are attached, whether Krishna, whether Rama, whether Shiva, right? That is devotional or bhakti music. When you are devotionally attached to someone, right? Then in 1000 AD around, there started to be seen temple dance traditions, right? In temple dance traditions, or what you call as Devdasi traditions, started to be flourishing in this time. And the temple dancers started to incorporate dances, classical dances like Bharatnatyam. Again, that was performed with the help of music or musical instruments, right? Very important personality of Carnatic music, with whom we credit that he is the father of Carnatic music, Pitama of Carnatic music, and that is Purandar Das. So his compositions, his learnings is what we started to imbibe, and hence we see the Carnatic music reaching to a next level, right? 13th century AD, Sarang Dev, he wrote Sangeet Ratnakar, right? Again, this work is also very important in the musical history of India, apart from Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Sarang Dev's Sangeet Ratnakar. So here we further understood the swars or the notes and the measurement of those swars or scale. So there are 7 basic notes in a scale: sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. that was again listed down here, and we further enriched our understanding of music, right? Hindustani music, greatest contribution by Amir Khusro was seen in and around 1300 AD, right? Qawwali or Sufi music was seen going to its height in 1400 AD, or what we call as 15th century, right? In the 17th century or 1600s, we see Tansen's music. How was Tansen's music? Seasonal, based on seasons. So, agar king wanted to invoke rains, he would, sing in such a way that rains used to come, right? That was the power of his notes and music at that point of time. So, seasonal music is what he popularized. Very romantic music, right? 1700 AD, Rajasthani valor songs, heroic songs, on the basis of the stories of the kings, their fightings which they did, right? Where they emerged as heroes or they dying in a battlefield, right? So those kind of songs you were written. 1750 AD onwards, in northwestern India, specifically in and around Pakistan and Punjab, modern day Pakistan and Punjab, we started to see a specific type of Sufi music. The most important personality was Bulle Shah, right? आपने गाना भी सुना होगा where Bulle Shah is used, है ना? He's associated with Sufi music. 1800s में we see Bhangra. Although it is a Sikh martial dance, but the kind of beats that were used in this dance were very unique. So Bhangra beats, bolte na Bhangra beats chahiye. So it's use of too much of dhol, right? Fast and very heavy, beats. 1850s, ghazal music, right? 1900s to 47, as I told you, patriotic songs, national songs, Jan Gan Man, Rabindra Sangeet, Rabindranath Tagore, all those, flavors of music is what, or genres of music is what you started to see during this time. And obviously, regional music like Rabindra Sangeet. And in modern day times, as I told you, pop music, remixes, Western music ka influence is what you see it in modern times, right? So evolution is done and understood. इससे ज़्यादा कुछ आएगा ही नहीं. This is the broader understanding of how music evolved and what kind of flavors and themes it was having. Now, what are the basic features of Indian music? So basically, Indian music is categorized into different flavors or elements. One is chanting, which is associated with Sanskrit shlokas. The other one is melodies or rag. Let me write it for you so that you understand more nicely. So when we say the elements in music, one is chantings, right? Or shlokas, right? Or prayers. The other one is raga or the melody in it. So one is plain chanting, right? And one is, giving it in a scale format, providing it to a tune to it. So what is raga or melody? A kind of a tune to any lyric, right? Then tal, that is beats. Ta type, right? Beats. Melody, beats, that is tal, and chantings, or you can simply put lyrics, are the three elements of Indian music. Make sense? Right? Then, when we further understand this, we generally recognize two systems of classical music, Hindustani and Carnatic. Let's understand what are they. So this is swar, sare, gama, pa dha, ni, sa. Rag is melody, right? Tal is beat. So there is swar, rag, and beats, tal, right? ठीक है. Hindustani music. So what do you think could be Hindustani? A Hindustani music was a music which had its origin in the northern India. Mainly it was influenced from the Persian and Arabic influences, right? What else? Amir Khusro was the pioneer of Hindustani music. The main elements of what you see in Hindustani music are seasons and mood theory of राग, राइट? इसलिए मैंने बोला ना सीजनल म्यूजिक होता है मुगल्स का. तानसेन ने सीजनल म्यूजिक को किया, जैसा मूड होता था, वॉट एवर द मूड वॉज, म्यूजिक वॉज ऑफ दैट काइंड. सो इफ समवन इज सैड, द टोन और द राग वुड बी डाउन प्लेड. इफ समवन इज हैप्पी, it would be cheerful, right? So like that, the music, was characterized in Hindustani music, right? There are different types of Hindustani music, like Dhrupad. Dhrupad is the oldest classical music of musical tradition under Hindustani music, right? It is simple and sober compositions. Usually Dhrupad is associated with high levels of frequency, right? It is usually associated again with prayers and chants, right? So it has more of a prayer element to it, chants to it, right? Raja Man Singh Tomar of Gwalior popularized Dhrupad, right? Tansen was a Dhrupad singer. ये गलत दिया हुआ है. Akbar did not give him the title of Mia. It was Raja of Gwalior, King of Gwalior, Man Singh, who gave the title to Tansen, right? There are different gharanas of Dhrupad. What are gharanas? Gharanas are coming from the word ghar, right? Ghar is basically center of influence. So as I told you, in those times, musical centers emerged, right? So one was Dagri Gharana, other was Darbhangi Gharana, Betaya Gharana, Vishnupur Gharana. So these were different gharanas of Dhrupad. Khayal. Khayal se kya lag raha hai? What kind of music it would be? In dreams and, thoughts, right? Khayal comes from the word, from a Persian word called thought or imagination, right? So you're imagining too much in this music. Dhrupad gives more freedom, right? So as compared to Dhrupad, where the freedom would be? In your imagination. So when you imagine, you are more free to imagine something. Dhrupad is more rule-based, right? As compared to Khayal, right? Khayal is more romantic in nature because of the imagination, right? Khayal performances basically takes place in two stages, Chota Khayal and Bada Khayal. Popular gharanas, यहाँ पर ये important है. Agra Gharana is a Khayal Gharana, right? Kirana Gharana, Gwalior Gharana, they are Khayal Gharanas, right? So Gharanas became an important centers of influence in Dhrupad and Khayal music, in Hindustani music, right? Then there are semi-classical Hindustani musics as well. Jaise for example, Thumri was a semi-classical Hindustani inspired music. It was also having certain tinge or flavors of bhakti music of North India, right? It has love and devotion as part of its musical elements. Similarly, you have Dhamar Gharana, which was basically Dhamar music, which was performed in Holi, right? Mathura Vrindavan ke Holi ke time pe this music is played. Again, it has links with Hindustani music, right? Tarana again is a semi-classical Hindustani music. Tappa, which is played in northwestern India, again has influence of semi-classical Hindustani music. So these are semi-classical Hindustani musical types, right? So certain examples you can put. जैसे you cannot say that in Hindustani music there was no element of bhakti. Obviously, with passing times, bhakti movement or bhakti music went into the north also, northwest also, right? So it got integrated and merged into several subtypes of Hindustani. And those several subtypes which had links with bhakti music were Thumri, let's say, or, even Dhamar has Krishna Bhakti in it. So these were certain musics that were played or which can be called as examples of semi-classical Hindustani music. Qawwali, again, is a semi-classical Hindustani musical example. Ghazal, again, Hindustani music ka example hai. These are different forms of Hindustani music, right?
Prepare for CSAT Prelims 2025 with confidence. Vision IS brings you a comprehensive CSAT classroom program 2025 designed to enhance your problem-solving abilities, analytical thinking, and time management skills. Master critical areas such as reading comprehension, logical reasoning, decision-making, and basic numeracy with our expert faculty from Delhi. Access the advantage of regular practice through mini tests, tutorials, and the All India CSAT test series to sharpen your skills. Starting 20th November at 1 p.m., choose between offline or live online classes, giving you the flexibility to learn on your terms. Don't miss out on this opportunity to elevate your CSAT preparation.
Carnatic music क्या होता है? Now Carnatic music is coming from the region Carnatic. Carnatic is the region which is associated with Tamil Nadu, right? Now this is having more influence of southern Indian traditions, right? This is highly scientific in nature, very rule based, unlike the Hindustani music, right? The features are that there are three stages in which the Carnatic singing takes place. The first is Ragam, then is Alapan, and then the third is Tanam, that is the interconnector between Alapan and Pallavi. Okay, so main stages are Ragam, Tanam, and Pallavi, right? There are two popular versions, Kriti. Now, Kriti-based Carnatic music is where the song is emphasized. Kritanai is where the music is emphasized. When the song is emphasized means the lyrics are emphasized. And in Kritanai, it is the music that is emphasized, right? Which are the famous personalities? This is important from prelims point of view. So, Purandar Das is considered to be the Pitama of the Carnatic music. Among the trinity of Carnatic music, among the males, it is Tyagraj, Shama Shastri, Muthuswami Dikshitar. Very, very important, right? Among the female trinity of Carnatic music, it is D.K. Pattawal, M.L. Vasant Kumari, M.S. Subbulakshmi, right? So this is important from prelims point of view, right? This has already been asked by UPSC. So again, that emphasizes that it is important, right? Next important thing is, what are the similarities and distinguishing features between Hindustani and Carnatic music? What do you think could be the similarities? Rag, tal, different elements, emphasizing of rag and tal at certain points of time, right? Both the styles give prime importance to melody, right? Both have same foundations as swar, rag, and tal. Both have a dominant swar or a dominant rag. Both are associated with some kind of religion. Both have been merged with some elements of bhakti movement, right? So this is what we see the similarities. Now coming to differences. When it comes to differences, the Hindustani music has more influence of Vedic music, whereas the Carnatic music has more emphasis on bhakti movement, right? Now Hindustani music is rag based more and Carnatic music is Kriti based. What is Kriti? lyrics, yes. It has more Turco-Persian influence, Hindustani music, whereas in Carnatic music, we do not see Turco-Persian influence, right? There is no restriction of time. You can romanticize, you can do khayal. But here, you have restriction of time and scales, right? You do not have too much of scope for improvisation and your imagination. The singer does not have scope of improvising or going beyond the rules in Carnatic. But here there are no strict rules, right? So there can be more singing styles here, whereas it has to be sung in a particular way, right? Because we give freedom to the singer in Hindustani music, we can see more number of styles coming from Hindustani music, whereas in Carnatic music, the singer is not given freedom, so it has to be sung or written in a specific way. What are the different musical instruments used specifically in Hindustani and Carnatic, which we can differentiate? Predominant use of tabla in Hindustani music. Kathak yaad rakh lena. So when you see Kathak performances, you see tabla, right? Whereas in Carnatic music, you see veena and mridangam, right? Here you see sitar and santoor. Here you see mandolin, violin and flute more. Okay? So these are few of the distinguishing features between Hindustani and classical music. Very, very important. There has been a question in mains on the contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you do get questions on bhakti saints, bhakti teachers, bhakti philosophers, and they have a vital link with music. Why do they have a very important and vital link with the music? Because all their compositions were composed in music, some music forms, so that it could reach down to the masses. It is appealed by the masses, right? So that's why the contribution of personalities, whether bhakti, whether Hindustani, whether Carnatic, whether Sufi, right, they become very important to understand how the music evolved, right? So first we will take up bhakti music. These are the compositions of the bhakti saints. So what are compositions? The sayings or the teachings. So Lal Ded was a bhakti saint in Kashmir area. So her compositions were known as Vak, right? So whatever teachings or compositions they used to make, these are known by specific terms. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has Sankirtans. So in the form of Kirtans and Bhajans, we hear the compositions, right? Kabir's Dohe, couplets, right? Bijaks. So Bijak mein Dohe diye hue hain. So that is part of Kabir's composition. Shankar Dev has composed Borgeets in Assam, right? Basavan in Karnataka, Vachanas, right? Tukaram and Eknath, Maharashtra, Abhangas. So their poetry, their compositions are known as Abhangas. So this is again important from prelims point of view, right? Now coming to specific contributions. Their time period is very important. The time period is very important because in prelims, if at all questions are coming from Bhakti movement or Bhakti phase, they are specifically asking about their time period, in whose honor or praise did they sing the song, their songs were dedicated to whom, or they were contemporary to whom. ठीक है, तो ये तीन चीजें वो पूछते हैं. So a basic idea of the time period is important. So Lal Ded, her compositions were called Vak. She is also known as Lalleshwari, Lal Arfa or Lalla. So she was predominantly seen in the 14th century. Late, her compositions were flourished in the late 14th century. So she is a Kashmiri mystic, basically dedicated Shaivite. She was the creator of a style of a mystic poetry called as Vaks or Vatsun, which means speech, right? Chaitanya Swami Mahaprabhu, time period again as I told you is very important. इनके compositions को क्या बोलते हैं? Sankirtan, right? So he was a saint from Bengal, founder of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Basically in the name of, whenever you see Vaishnavism, in the bhakti of Vaishnavism or Vaishnavite is associated with Lord Vishnu or forms of Vishnu, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mode of worshipping was Krishna, bhajan kirtan, and which had effect on the spread of Vaishnavism in Bengal, right? Apart from this, Sankirtan, as we had discussed, is a very important aspect of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's musical compositions. Sankirtan means Sankirtan. Together we do Kirtan. So group chanting, right? And this is again very important. The ISKCON is basically associated with Sankirtan, or saying the Krishna Mahamantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the foundational Mahamantra of the ISKCON group. Again, this can be used as an example that how do you see the tradition of music getting linked with the modern times. So we do have ISKCON centers and temples almost in every part of India, and they are still using Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Mahamantra. So like that, you can give the example, right? Now, another musical tradition which has been influenced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the Baul singers, or the Baul tradition. So basically, they are musical wanderer community from Bengal, Orissa, and they sing the songs in praise of Krishna, influenced by the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? And this Baul tradition was included in the list of, not the representative list, nominated list of UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List, right? So this is what you can again add to any question, because ये question आ चुका है on the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so all these points are important, although we are doing with respect to music. So as I told you that the ISKCON is basically spreading the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? And you can attach the Krishna Mahamantra associated with ISKCON, right? Kabir's Dohe. So the Kabir Dohes, or the mystic poet, has, in his Dohe given place to, certain Sikhism scripture from Guru Granth Sahib, from, Sadguru Granth Sahib, some, again, Granths from Saint Garib Das. So we do see the cosmopolitan nature of Kabir's Dohe, right? Where he has involved the Sikh couplets or sayings as well in his Dohe, right? So today Kabir is an important figure in Hinduism, Sikhism and Sufism, and not only Sikhism. He has also included in his teachings certain Sufi mystics sayings or couplets as well, right? So that's why it is very important that we understand that Kabir is as an epitome or a example of universal brotherhood, right? So is tarike se you have to understand, right? So as I told you that the compilations of Kabir are called as Dohe, which he has compiled in his Bijak. His poems were basically, in Sadhukadi or the Panchmel language. Now the Sadhukadi is basically a mix of language which includes Khadi Bauli, Braj, Bhojpuri and Awadhi, right? So it's basically a mixture of languages which is known as Sadhukadi. कड़ी खाई है कभी? क्या होता है उसमें? वो कड़ कड़ कर बनती है. So the more it boils, the more delicious it becomes, right? Similarly, the more languages he incorporated, a good mixture of, unique language emerged. So that's known as Sadhukadi, which includes different languages like Khadi Bauli, Braj, Bhojpuri, Awadhi. He had also written exclusively songs in Bhojpuri as well, pure Bhojpuri. ठीक है? His literary works are again important. This is from prelims point of view कि क्या क्या literary works थे तो and with which it was influenced. So these are prelims facts. फिर आते हैं हम शंकर देव में 15th to 16th century. Now Shankar Dev basically Borgeets, Satriya dance. All these are cultural and musical, linkings which you have to attach with Shankar Dev, right? So basically, Bhagavatic religious movement is what he started. What is Bhagavatic? Bhagavad Gita. So, Ek Saran Dharm, Neo Vaishnavite movement is what he started. What do you understand by that? Taking name of one God, believing in the teachings of Bhagavad Puran. Right? That was what was Neo Vaishnavite movement. वैसे Vaishnavite movement क्या था? What was Vaishnavite movement? Devotional songs in the praise of Lord. हाँ, मतलब forms of Vishnu. But he started a Neo Vaishnavite movement which included Ek Saran Dharm, one form of religion, or devoting to the teachings of Bhagavad Puran, right? Besides that, the Neo Vaishnavite movement included within its element Kirtan Ghosh. What was Kirtan Ghosh? Again, it was having some poetal works related to, Shankar Dev, and which was written in Brajavali language. ठीक है, ब्रजावली लैंग्वेज क्या है? मैथिली और असमिस का मिक्सचर, राइट, इज व्हाट वाज द म्यूजिकल कॉम्पोजिशंस लाइक कीर्तन घोष वर रिटन इन, राइट. देन बासवा और बासवेश्वर, which century? 12th century AD, right? So during so he was a Lingayat poet. Lingayat bhakti teachers were the ones who were worshippers of Shiva, right? So he basically existed during the reign of Kalachuri and Kalyani Chalukya's dynasty, right? And he reached the peak during which ruler's reign? King Bijal II of Karnataka, right? He had very important messages, and his messages or sayings are very important when it comes to ethics also. ठीक है, तो there are questions coming in ethic which requires you to explain the relevance of the quotes or quotations. So his quotations or messages are very famous. So one is work is worship. We still use this, right? Similarly, just read this. What sort of religion can it be without compassion? You need to show compassion to all living beings. Compassion is the root of all religious faiths. So a religion should not be religion focused. It should be human focused, which is being empathetic, being compassionate, is what you understand from this saying, right? So his compositions were known as vachanas, right? Again, who were Lingayats, who basically introduced or wear a shivling on their neck, right? His literary works include Vachan Sahit in Kannada language, right? Abhangas from Maharashtra, Eknath, Tukaram. This is Abhanga compositions from Maharashtra. So these Abhanga compositions from Maharashtra basically emphasize who are the prominent bhakti saints or poets? Eknath, Tukaram, they are the most important and prominent ones. So Abhanga is coming from the word Abhang, which is non-ending, right? Non-ending continuous process of learning and doing changes in society, giving messages to people, right? Their pilgrimage, or the ones who are associated with Abhanga poetry or worshipping of Lord Vitthal, is Pandharpur. A very important tradition, Vari Varkari tradition, is associated with Abhangas or the Bhakti saints or poets in Maharashtra. This Vari Varkari tradition is nothing but when the people come together and they take out processions in the name of Lord Vitthal. So they go to the pilgrimage, that is Pandharpur, right? This Vari Varkari tradition, mind you, has already been asked by UPSC in prelims, right? So Eknath believed in Vari Varkari tradition. So his followers performed Vari Varkari tradition, which was taking out procession in the name of Lord Vittal and going to Pandharpur, which was the sacred pilgrimage place for worshipping Lord Vittal, right? Even our honorable Prime Minister had given, acknowledgement and respect to the Vari Varkari tradition, because he went 2 years back to inaugurate Saint Tukaram temple there, right? So again, this is important. Hindustani music personalities. Amir Khusro. Which century? 13 to 14th century. ऐसे ही याद करना है, the way I'm telling you. 13 to 14th century. Which time period? Delhi Sultanate time period, right? He was referred as Parrot of India, Tute Hind, right? He is also regarded as father of Qawwali music, right? He also introduced ghazal style of music. So many contributions in his name, right? Parrot of India, ghazal music, Qawwali music, right? So again, that means it is important. He was the disciple of Nizamuddin Aulia. He was a Sufi saint of Chishti order, right? He believed in the fusion of Persian and Indian musical traditions, because his music was more oriented towards amalgamation of Sufism and Hindustani. So obviously it would have elements of Persian and Indian music. Innovations in rag and melodies, specifically Rag Yaman, had Persian influence, which he introduced in Hindustani music. Rag Sazgari was a hybrid style of Persian and Indian music, right? So he invented those ragas which had Persian influence, like, as example dena, like Rag Yaman, Rag Sazgari. That's it, right? He had certain poetic contributions also, which are still heard today. Chhap Tilak, एक बहुत modern गाना है, ठीक है? आजकल in MTV also you have what? एक आता है ना? नहीं देखते हो आप? So there is this initiative of MTV which recognizes the Sufi and the Coke Studio. So it recognizes more of Qawwali and Sufi and blended music. So there you could have heard Chhap Tilak Sab Chini To Se Naina Milai Ke. That is a very popular song of Amir Khusro, which has been blended in today's time, right? So you can give this as an example that how, Amir Khusro style or the styles which we heard in medieval times are still relevant today. अगर question ऐसा आता है तो, right? Obviously. Swami Haridas, 16th, 17th century. Right.
Get ready to conquer UPSC Prelims 2025 with a strong hold over current affairs. Enroll for the PT 365 program, a 20-day course offering comprehensive coverage of 1-year current affairs in 60 hours. This meticulously designed curriculum features daily sessions on important subjects relevant to the prelims examination. Starting offline from 9th January at 5 p.m., the highlights include complete coverage of current affairs from sources such as The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Economic Times, Yojana, among others. Flexibility of class timing with access to live online classes for distance learning students. Access to Sandhan, a personalized prelims test series. Personalized assessment and feedback. Doubt clearing sessions and mentoring. Get on board to succeed in prelims with excellence in current affairs.
Yeah. Swami Haridas, 16th to 17th century. So he is credited with specifically singing songs in Drupad style. Drupad style? Vedic style, chanting style, okay? Swami Haridas, 16th to 17th century, largely composed devotional music, which is a Drupad style in Hindustani music, right? His works are dedicated to Krishna and Radha Krishna's team as such, right? Haridas composed Braj Bhasha poetry and his works are known as Kelimal and Ashtadas Siddhant, right? More specifically, you need to know the time period Radha Krishna influence on his singings, and Dhrupad style, right? Tansen. His name was Ramtanu, right? And he was known as Mia Tansen. As I told you, Mia title was given by Raja of Gwalior, who was Man Singh Tomar. And after his court, he served at Akbar's court, right? He was a Vaishnav singer and a disciple of Haridas. ठीक है, ये याद रखना. He was originally a Vaishnav singer and a disciple of Haridas, right? His name was Ramtanu. He first served at the court of King of Gwalior and then Akbar. अगर आप ये देख रहे हो, so Akbar is watching Tansen receiving a lesson from Haridas. Haridas, Vaishnavite. He was one of the Navratnas of the Akbar's court, right? He is again remembered for his Dhrupad style and ragas as well as Sri Ganesh Strot. जैसे अगर ध्रुपद है, वैष्णव है, तो all these elements would be part of his singing before and after, right? Then certain hagiographies mention that Tansen also met a Sufi mystic called Muhammad Ghaus, and his interaction with Ghaus, blended his music with Sufism. So Sufi influence on Tansen's music was also seen. तो एक तो वैष्णवाइट हो गया, right? Then Persian, then Sufi, right? So most of these songs which he sang were derived from Hindu Puranas, Braj Bhasha, praise of gods and goddesses like Ganesh, Saraswati, Vishnu, right? He also dedicated songs in the memory or, valor of kings, right? Gwalior mein, till today, in December, an annual festival is dedicated to Tansen, which is known as Tansen Samaro, because of the legacy he left in Gwalior, right? Movies bhi bani hai Tansen pe. Tansen movie was made, which was called Tansen in 1943, Baiju Babra in 1952. So if something of that sort question comes at what is the musical legacy that we are still carrying today, so you can just give examples of certain musical artists or musical personalities on whose work we are still making movies and remembering them. Just to give you an example, Tansen Samaro, movies on Tansen, right? Carnatic music ki personalities. Two most important which we will be covering is Purandar Das and Tyagaraja, right? Purandar Das, why? He is the Pitama of Carnatic music, 15th to 16th century. So basically he was a devotional singer who dedicated songs in the name of Bhagavad Puran, right? He formulated the basic teaching lessons of music, right? Alankars, ragas. Mayamal Govala, as the first scale to be learnt as part of Carnatic music, was invented by him. That was again in the form of Saregama Padhanisa, right? A practice that is still followed today in Carnatic music. The first scale to be learnt was invented by him. This is his contribution in the Carnatic music. He is also noted for composing Das Sahitya, which is basically compilation of bhakti songs, right? His compositions are compiled in Kannada, mostly in Kannada and some in Sanskrit as well. His pen name was Vitthal. He's also known as Purandar Vitthal. He had traveled across India and basically he was existing during the times of Vijayanagar Empire, right? And he has also sung songs in the court of Krishna Dev Raya. Again, these are prelims related information because वो contemporary पूछते हैं, time period पूछते हैं, that's why this is important. Again, on his name and his work, certain films are made like Purandar Das, Nav Koti Narayan, which you can use as examples in mains answer, right? ये वही चीज़ है that what all did he make. So basically, he formalized the musical system, he systematized alankars, ragas, He is known as the father of Carnatic music. Tyagaraja, 18th to 19th century. He is a saint and composer of Carnatic music, along with Shama Shastri and Muthuswami Dikshitar. He is considered as the trinity of Carnatic music in male category, right? He composed songs in the praise of Lord Ram, mostly in Telugu. 5 of his compositions were known as Panch Ratna Kritis. He lived through 4 kings, specifically of the Maratha Empire. ठीक है, याद रखना, which century? 18th to 19th century. Marathas were the most important power at that point of time. So he served during the times of Maratha rulers, right? Musical instruments कौन कौन से type के होते हैं? So there are string instruments which has string, blowing instruments from which you blow the air, percussion instruments which are made with animal's skin. I'll show you also the pictures. Ghanavadya, which are solid instruments, or the cymbals, right? Carnatic musical instruments are these. The most prominent ones are वीणा. ये कौन सा इंस्ट्रूमेंट है? स्ट्रिंग. Solid, mridangam, flute, air blown, right? Then ghatam, solid, cymbals, percussion, right? So these are the most important musical instruments of Carnatic music. Hindustani, sitar. How does pakhwaj look like? So this is sitar, this is pakhwaj. Shehnai, again very important. As I told you, tabla is very important. Tanpura is very important. A tanpura kind of a musical instrument is used in bhakti music as well, right? Harmonium is very important. Sarangi very important. Sarod. These are very important famous musical instruments of Hindustani, right? Question kabhi aisa aaya nahi hai that, you know, what is Sushir Vadya, what is Ghana Vadya. But yes, for clarity, you should know the meaning of these terms. So what could be string instruments which has strings? Flute kya hoga? Blowing instrument. Percussion jo sound bajata hai, right? And Ghan Vadya, which are solid instruments or covered with some skin, right? So इस तरीके के string instruments लगते हैं, like sitar, ektara, sarod, ektara, bhakti music, right? Sishir vadya, which are blown through air. Shehnai, flute. Avanad vadya, percussion, जो sound बजाते हैं, right? Which makes sound. Just remember like this. Tabla, damru, tambourine, dholak. These are sound making, which emphasizes on sound. Although they are also solid, but they emphasize on sound, right? Ghanavadya, जैसे घंटा और छिपली, ताल जो ऐसे बजते हैं, right? Which you know, use 2 musical instruments to play, right? So those are solid instruments, right? Now let's see the question that was asked by UPSC and let us see whether you can solve it or not, right? So this question came in 2012, with reference to Dhrupad, one of the major traditions of India that has been kept alive for centuries. Which one of the following statements are correct? Dhrupad originated and developed in the Rajput kingdoms during the Mughal period. Dhrupad is primarily a devotional and spiritual music. Dhrupad Alap uses Sanskrit syllables from mantras. So what is the basic feature of Dhrupad? Vedic, chanting, mantras, shlokas. Would they have originated in the Rajput kingdoms? So if you read second, they are devotional and spiritual music, which uses Sanskrit syllables from mantras. 2 and 3 only is the correct answer, right? That was what the question was asked in prelims in 2012 from music. The only question. Musical tribes. what I have done is I have given you the list. Again, this is from prelims point of view, as well as if question comes on the regional and the tribal music of India, you should have specific examples, right? So we will not do it in detail. How you have to use it is that you pick the examples of certain tribes from different states, which are known for their music. For example, Gaddi tribes from Himachal Pradesh, right? Laholis, Lahol Spiti, they are basically carrying forward the Buddhist heritage, right? Pangwals, they are basically ones who are into the folk songs, regional songs, right? Similarly, Gujarat, Garasya tribes, Bois tribe. Bois are fishing and agricultural communities. This is important. Reason being, there has been a question on Mangnia tribes once, long back in 2008 or 9. So you can get a pair type of question. And these are some of the most famous tribes of India, musical tribes of India. Banjanias, they are basically known for performing bhajans, and they are again from Gujarat, right? Rathwas, again very important musical tribes of Gujarat. They also perform Rathwa tribal dance, right? Rajasthan, Mangniyars, Langas, Bopa Bopis, Kalbelias. These are the most prominent musical tribes of Rajasthan. Kalbelias is a dance also which has been recognized by UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. Kalbelia dance में जो music use होता है उसको Kalbelia music बोलते हैं, and these tribes are again associated with it, right? So Mangniyars पे question आ चुका है, and these are the other important musical tribes of Rajasthan, right? Punjab, Mirasis, Bhands, Rababis, these are all musical tribes of Punjab. Jaise for example, Mirasis perform the traditional folk songs, right? Bhands perform music from dholki and harmonium. Rababis are basically, descendants of Guru Nanak's teachings, and they perform mostly, songs influenced from Guru Nanak's, or, kirtans and bhajans, right? Joginath, again a musical tribe of Punjab, and their songs are dedicated to Lord Shiva. This is important, right? गाना भी है ना, जोगिया वे जोगिया जोगिया. The Jogi tribes are from they dedicate their songs to Lord Shiva. Madhya Pradesh, Gonds, right? Chhattisgarh में भी Gonds हैं, so they are again musical tribes. Gondal and Karma dance is associated with Gonds tribe or Gonds, right? Similarly, Santhals, they are also known for their own regional Santhali music, right? They use the influence like drums, flutes, a string instrument, etc. So Santhali music or Santhal are known for music as well. Okay? Then Bheels, they also use music when they perform their folk dances and rituals and traditions. Nagas, again, they have a specific, musical tradition, right? So when they perform their dance or culture, they have a specific music as well. Bodos from Assam, ye sabko pata hai, right? So these are also musical tribes. Begas, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, they again are often credited with Bega type of music. Todas, they have their own specific music type. Lambadi, Banjara, again very important tribes which are also known for their own exclusive cultural rich music, right? Munda tribes, sabko pata hai, Jharkhand, Odisha. So they again have their own traditions of music. Garos, again, as you can see the photo also, they are using dholak kind of a instrument, and then a unique wind blown instrument. These are regional musical styles, jaise Rasya Geet in UP, Pankhida in Rajasthan. So basically how you have to use it is what we did in our first instance, that what themes, what genres, how the music evolved, what styles do you see? And question aise hi aayega. You just have to use this as an example. There has not been any question, as I told you, in prelims, so you can use it on your own discretion how much you can retain, right? So these are regional musical styles, very, very important. Rasya Geet, UP, Pankida, Rajasthan, Lotia, Rajasthan again, Mando, Goa, Sohar, UP, Chakri in Kashmir, Laman in Himachal Pradesh. आपको description याद करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, it's just that you memorize which state does it belong to. Kajri, UP again, Bura Katha, Andhra Pradesh, Bhakha, JNK, भूटा सॉन्ग केरला, 10 कठिया उड़ीसा, बिहू सॉन्ग्स असम सबको पता है, चाहिया मिजोरम, बसंती गढ़वाल, घसियारी गीत गढ़वाल, गढ़वाल is in news also. Then there is a very premier apex body of managing the musical traditions and awards in India, and that is Sangeet Natak Academy. So it was set up in 1953 and basically recognizes music, dance and drama, right? Its chairman is appointed by the president for a 5-year term, right? The main office is in Delhi and it is an autonomous body of the Ministry of Culture, the government of India, right? So that was with respect to music. I hope you have now made sense of how IVC and how, the evolution of music types and elements is to be considered for UPSC examination, right? If you have any questions, you can ask me with respect to the content which you have to use, or is it clear? Clear? So all the best, guys. Have a nice day.